My name is Angie. I have been struggling with, I guess it's eczema, for a long time, probably 10 years or maybe a little bit, maybe more like 15 years. I noticed that my hands would start to crack. My knuckles up here would just really start to get inflamed, and in fact the worst part was a lot of times they would get infected because I can't bandage that part of my hand. And so every time I would get them wet and then dry it, it seemed to just really dry it out to where it would just crack more and get really painful. This part of my hand here would just get really red and inflamed all the way up to my wrist, and it was really painful. And it was hard to be mom. It was hard to do the things that I needed to do every day. I'd wear gloves when I did the dishes, but nothing was really a really great solution for me. It was just hard. It was difficult. I've tried so many lotions and creams, I can't even begin to think of what they all were. I've had so many. I have thrown so many away. In fact, some that would work really well at first, and I was really excited and hopeful, and then they seemed to not work anymore. They just stopped working. There were some that actually made it worse. Really thick ones that I thought, this is going to be great, and they actually would inflame it more. Or even the ones that did help. I would get up in the morning after I'd had it on all night with my little cotton gloves, and I'd get up in the morning, and as soon as I'd start washing my hands and start washing the dishes and start taking care of kids, it would just flare up again and become really painful. So it would help sometimes at night to do some of the creams, but nothing that would take it away during the day. It was always a problem during the day, no matter what I did. We put soft water in our home to try to alleviate the problem. I've been to at least 2 different dermatologists, several appointments to try to solve the problem. Spent I don't know how much money on different lotions and creams, and whenever somebody that knew me would, think of something, they'd say, Angie, I have just what you need, and so I'd try that again. I don't know how many times I've done that. But I do know that I've spent a lot of money. A friend of mine introduced me to EczeMate, and so I tried it. Admittedly, I've tried so many other things, I wasn't extremely convinced that it was going to do anything different. But one thing I did learn as I started using it is that most products are made with water. Even the thicker creams that I would try, they're all made with water, and a lot of them would actually sting my skin. When I would put it on, I could feel it sting every part that was hurt. That doesn't happen with EczeMate. It's amazing. You put it on, and it's just like another layer of skin. I don't know if it's waterproof, but it feels waterproof. It's fabulous, and so I can wash my hands, and even though the water doesn't beat up on my hands, it doesn't get through. And even after I wash my hands, I can tell it's still there. I can wash my hands over and over and over again, and it's still there. The first day that I used it, my hands were in awful shape. They had cracks all over them. I had one, I think, that was inflamed and infected, and they just looked terrible. And I put this on, and I wish I would have taken a picture, because within the first, I put it on at night, and within the first 8 hours or so, the next day when I looked at it in the morning, it was already, I could tell, soothed a lot, and it was pain-free. The night that I started using it, my hands were in horrible shape. They felt horrible, and the next morning they felt wonderful. And 24 hours later, I remember looking at them and thinking, wow, these look great. Most of the cuts you couldn't even see. You couldn't even see. The more severe ones were still there, but they were closed, and you could tell they were healing even after 24 hours. It was amazing. So here are my hands. This is 3 weeks to the day of using it. For the first week, I used it night and morning. Since then, I've used it most nights, not even all nights. Some mornings, not even all mornings, and this is what they look like. So I have been very, very pleased. To someone who's trying to decide whether or not to try EczeMate, I would say definitely go for it. Coming from someone who was pretty skeptical after trying so many different products, I could definitely recommend this to anyone and everyone who has a problem with it, and also knowing how difficult it can be to deal with skin issues, knowing how it can really hurt the way that you live your life. It's worth a try. Not only that, it's guaranteed, but I am definitely keeping my bottle.